Hey, hi, I'm Mona. This is Sacred Geometry Universe Video Journal Diary for June 18th, 2026. I have this on because I forgot my hat. So I'm trying to keep covered from the sun, even though I put a whole bunch of like sunblock on my face and stuff. I just, and I'm trying not to face the sun because, we're at the lake again, or the reservoir, right? It's so funny how you can meet people out in town and they don't even know this is here. That's so weird. It's like 10 minutes away. Like, it's sad because people don't even get out the house of their own where they live. Maybe they can't afford it. I don't know. They can't afford to take, look at Messy Boy. Jeez. He's gonna go back in the water anyway, so I don't really care about that. But he likes to do that. I hate that though. I hate that for when we go somewhere and he gets all wet and then we get back and he wants to rub in the dirt. It's like, ah. But it's so weird because his fur is different because once he dries, like everything's off. Even his paws turn white again. Like right now you can't even tell he's got white paws. But they will be white once he dries completely. We're going to still go in the water though because it's early. It's like 3 something. But we went to, what do you call it? We went to pick up the part, which it looks like it's the right thing. It just doesn't have that extra piece on there, but I don't need that. But I checked it out and I looked at it and it totally looks like what fits in there. So that's cool. So I got the part. We're going to test it out. I also went to the library, which was like kind of right up the street. And I charged up to Jackery, only like to like 80 something. Because I want to test the cord, I got to see. And if it doesn't work, then maybe the next time we go in, I can return it or whatever. But I think that's the one, though, for sure. We went to a place called, gosh, I forgot what it was called. I don't want to say the wrong name. But the people there were nice. I gave them a good review on Google, But then we went, like I said, we went to the library. And I charged up to Jackery and I uploaded all these videos. It's really hard to come up with content for channels, for real. Like for the tarot channel, no, because it's brand new readings all the time, right? And they're timeless, so anybody can watch it whenever, right? That's why I don't care if people watch the channel or not. The right people will show up and see the video if they need it, whatever. That's my humanitarian work. Like it's all free. But like for the the channel where I'm exposing the town, it's hard to come up with stuff. But because they're so dumb over there and I have a really stupid neighbor, she keeps fucking up. She keeps doing things that incriminate her. Sending weird texts. And another thing she did was she called. Ooh, a nice wind blow right now. She called code enforcement saying I have bees at my house. And so when the guy called, I recorded the whole phone call conversation. I was really abrasive with that guy though, because who knows who's calling me, right? Because these people in the town, they lie about everything. They make up stories. They make false reports and accusations. So I was guarded when I spoke to him. And so, that conversation ended, whatever. I recorded it. You can tell I'm a little abrasive, but as the day progressed, because when before I did anything though, I went and got an oil change. Yeah, I got an oil change before I went to pick up the part. Because when I was driving by the oil change place, nobody was there. So I was like, ooh, let me go in there and do it right now. So I got my oil changed and everything and then did all that stuff. And then on the way back, though, to come here to the reservoir, I was thinking about the conversation. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call that guy and I'm going to apologize for being, abrasive or whatever. So I did. I pulled over, found a nice little shady spot. And I sat there and I spoke to him. You know what? That guy's a pretty nice guy. He's a pretty nice guy. And you know what else? Like, he doesn't live in the county. I found that out. And you know what? If he would have let me know that he didn't live in the county, things would have been different. Because he lives so far from where the county is, he has no idea what's going on over here. Yeah. I had a very long talk with him, and he accepted my apology. But I told him the same stuff that I told Coastal Bend. I had to tell Coastal Bend that I'm being harassed by the sheriff's department and that they're sending them over without knowledge of that, and that they're part of the harassment because the sheriff's department's doing it. Once I told Coastal Bend that, never again have they bothered me. Never again. And so with this guy, the exact same thing happened. I told him about the neighbor, how she's been harassing me for months, criminal trespass, exploitation of children, harassment through texts, sending me I told him everything. I even told him about the water in town because he's code enforcement. I told him about the water in town and how people are dying and that it's full of arsenic, and that I am the only one in the whole entire town who has the water report. No one has it. Not even City Hall. I have it. And he's like, oh, I was thinking of moving. I said, no, don't move here. I said, it's not safe for your kids. It's not safe for anyone. The water is toxic and people are dying. I told him all this stuff. And he was actually trying to think of stuff like, how can he help? He's not going to bother me anymore in regards to that neighbor because he knows that it's all harassment now. But I told him that, yeah, you know what? I'll still have my person go over there and check about the problem. And if there's anything and he takes care of whatever, that I will call him or text him and let him know the problem's taken care of. But as far as I know, there's no problem, and this is all harassment. So he's not going to bother me anymore. He's not, because he knows her game now. He knows what the neighbor's doing. Yeah. That guy's good. Yeah. I have the video of the conversation I had with him, and maybe I did sound a little abrasive and I shouldn't have been laughing, but I can't help myself. But I did call him and apologize. He said my apology. He understands what's going on. He's very far from here, so he doesn't know about the corruption in the town. He did mention about, well, I don't give permission to, record. I said, I can record whoever I want. Your name is not on there. You can say anybody's first name, but how are you going to find who that? Do you know how many people have the same first names? You can say that, but the full name is not expressed. Only if it's a recorded phone call with, the district attorney, the county attorney, the sheriff's department, or even the police department if I decided to discuss things with them. But other than that, anybody can record. You just can't really say like their whole name. You can't. That's why on a lot of the videos they have people's names blocked out. Like the first name's fine. It doesn't matter, but you don't want to put the whole name on there. That's like a rule when you're dealing with this for YouTube. You never expose a full name of anybody, because any public servant, their information is public knowledge. You can go and look it up yourself. I don't have to say anything. I can just say a title. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So I told him that anyways, and I said, I'll put on there that you're a good guy. I said, because I told him that the channel over there is specifically for the FBI. The rest of it's like whatever, entertainment. But anything I come up with, that's evidence for the FBI. So, and there's nothing better than helping the FBI or some major law enforcement agency help catch criminals. There's not a better feeling. Real criminals. People who are actually hurting other people. Yeah, and that's what's happening in this town. That's why I had to leave. Witness protection. Got to protect myself. Fortunately, I can afford to do this. Some people can't, and I can't imagine like any person who couldn't protect themselves, who got either thrown in jail or to the psychiatric ward or even worse. But it was a very nice day, and yeah. This is June 18th, 2026. Sacred Geometry Universe, I'm Mona, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.